Shout out to Extreme Gameplays for me to get the idea to make this video. Anyways, with that said, please enjoy the video. God of War Ragnarok has been out for quite some time now, and of course when it came out, everyone loved it. And I played it too when it first came out. Every night when I got off work, I would always come home, have a bite to eat, and then start to play Ragnarok. I beat the game probably within the span of 2 weeks, give or take. But then again, I was also playing Sonic Frontiers around the time, so I was playing through 2 games at once. But needless to say, I loved Ragnarok. It's a great game. However, you did read the title and the thumbnail of this video. I recently gone back and played the original trilogy again after a while, and I could say without a doubt, 100%, yeah, it's still better. Now before we get into why I feel this way, I feel like I need to make some things clear real quick. Number 1, there is no nostalgia involved in this take whatsoever. When this franchise came out, I was 1 year old, and by the time I got a PS3, the trilogy was wrapped up. And I only had Sonic games for my PS3 at the time, so no, nostalgia does not play a key factor into this opinion. And if you want to know when I got into this franchise, I got into it when I was 17, a senior in high school in 2021. Around this time, I've been checking out the franchise because I'd always see it in the PlayStation Store, and would always be confused why there was a God of War 1, and then there was another one called the exact same thing. So, in 2021 after Ragnarok got announced, I downloaded Dad of Boy on my PS5 and played it. Then went back to the original trilogy right afterwards, and played every single God of War game up to Ascension. So yeah, no nostalgia at all. Number 2, yes, I have played through and experienced both God of War 4 and God of War Ragnarok. Both are great titles with a great story and decent gameplay, and have great moments. Personally, I think Ragnarok is way better than the previous game, not just story-wise, but gameplay-wise too, but I'll get to gameplay in just a bit. Number 3, and I want to make this very clear, yes, I know these are 2 different types of games. I know the previous God of War games have a different tone to them, and it's a different type of game style than the newer ones. I am really aware of this, I don't need that spammed in the comments, alright? I get it's a new era, still though, I'm aware that it's a new one, but this is just my opinion, alright? Okay, with that said, let's get started. So as I previously just said, yes, I still think the original trilogy of God of War is still way better than the new one will ever be. Let me get one thing out of the way. I love Ragnarok. It's a fantastic game. The story is great and there are a lot of good moments in the game. And the gameplay, while being better than Dad of Boy, it's better and the combat is definitely more refined for this follow-up. It's much faster and way better than the previous game. Overall, I think Ragnarok is just a great game. That is, if you don't classify it as a God of War game. So as I've said, the first God of War game I played was God of War 4 for the PS4, but with the PS5 60 FPS upgrade boost when I played it. When I played it, I knew the basics already of the franchise because up to this point, I would watch videos on God of War from YouTubers like The Completionist. I also watched God of War 3 Let's Plays, specifically playthroughs that Dion, aka Syriax, did back in 2017, to pretty much get hyped up for God of War 4. Which he then played through that game on his channel as well, which by the way, get Dion to 1 million subs now. And eventually I discovered the GOAT Captain Cuba as well, and his God of War lore and theories videos as well, and I really love to watch those. Which by the way, he makes some pretty awesome content, so I'd definitely go check it out. And yes, I even found Under the Mayo as well. But when I played God of War 4, I played pretty much all of it, and I had a decent time with it. I really loved it. So I decided to go back. I signed up for a PlayStation Now account at the time and played all the original titles. I first got 3 just to see how I liked things. Remember, I knew everything at this point. So I played through 3 and loved it. So I went back and played 1 and had a great time with it. Then I played 2 and will never forget my first time with that game. It's amazing. And to be perfectly honest, I'm still trying to decide which I like better, 3 or 2. Then I played the PSP games. I beat Ghost of Sparta, and honestly, Ghost of Sparta, it's gotta be my favorite PSP game. But I didn't get to finish Chains of Olympus. I think I got halfway through, and then my subscription to PS Now ran out. Hey, I had it for 1 month, alright? Also, I was in high school, didn't have all the time in the world. But before my subscription ran out, I managed to get to play Ascension, and I nearly threw up, it was so bad. So after I played all the OG God of War games, I then played God of War 4 on New Game Plus, and yeah, I went back to God of War 3 like right afterwards. So why is it that I feel this way? Well, there's multiple reasons. First of all, whenever I play the new God of War titles, I feel like I'm playing every other first-party PlayStation game. Seriously, slap some other character there, and I wouldn't even know that this is a God of War game. I get it, it's a different pantheon, but still, it doesn't seem like God of War. This doesn't scream God of War. Like, tell me the current fight you're looking at on screen. Does this look like God of War to you? This is God of War.
You challenge me, mortal? A god of Olympus? A true warrior does not hide, Poseidon!
Leave the sea and face me!
You have disrespected the gods for the last time, Kratos. I will leave nothing of you in my wake.
And this brings me to my next point. Oh, the gameplay is not fun! I'm sorry to those of you who like this type of gameplay style, but I can't stand it. It's boring and very uninteresting. A perfect video that kind of gives how I feel about this is Extreme Gameplay's recent video at the time of writing for this video. What I'm saying is that the new God of War games have, it doesn't feel very gamey. I feel like I'm playing an interactive movie. I miss when you'd have enemies all around you and you're intense and you're fighting huge cyclops and enemies that are about the same size as you at the same time. Now it's just regular enemies that have annoying health bars. The God of War franchise in development has always focused on combat and story. Now it feels like that combat just takes more of a back seat. Now in Ragnarok, the combat does feel better, but it just feels like it got moved up to the passenger seat rather than the back seat. But my point still stands. The gameplay is way better in the original trilogy. I'm actually having fun. And that's something that I feel like that lacks in the new games, is that you're not having fun. You're just sitting back, and again, you feel like you're playing an interactive movie. With the other ones, you're having fun. You're having a great time. There's so many awesome mechanics and whatnot. My point still stands. This gameplay is way better, and nothing is going to change my mind. Now, one more big thing I want to talk about, and that is, this kind of connects with the combat as well, and that is the camera. Oh my, where do I even begin with this? Okay, first of all, this camera sucks. I hate it. This does not belong with Kratos' journey. In the original games, there was a fixed camera, and it was perfect. Now I can't even tell if there's an enemy behind me or not. If I'm fighting an enemy, one just comes up and sneaks attack me and takes me out. This is annoying. Not a problem in the original. I have the view all around me. There's no over-the-shoulder camera. It's just Kratos, and right behind him, you can get right behind Kratos, but you can see an enemy coming right behind you. There's no annoying warning shot on the screen where you have to dodge with a dodge mechanic that barely works! Like, here's an example. If I had $1 for every time I died in those fights in that one place in the tunnels in Ragnarok, where you're like in like the tunnels in like the dwarf area, I don't know where, I can't remember what it's called, but you probably get what I'm saying. I would have $20 or something, because I died so many times with the same BS camera type. I hate this camera, and it really makes me uninterested in playing this game. What happened to this franchise? Lord, this is just becoming a rant video at this point. Okay, look. I get that this is a new era of God of War we're in, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys who play the new God of War games and love them are really sick and tired of hearing this. But I'm just gonna be honest. If I'm not having fun with a game, I'm going to say this. I miss how the old games felt more. Again, I didn't play these games when I was a kid because I was just really too young to play them. But when I got older and played them after I played the new ones, it just shows how much better the original are. They're just more, well, gamey. You have fun with the combat and all the combos you can pull off and whatnot. That's just what makes them so much fun, is the combat in God of War. And even the fact that they managed to make a good story at the same time that doesn't require teardrops and whatnot. I just miss how the old games felt more gamey. Whenever I played the original games, I love to just sit back and listen to something like a podcast or an audiobook on my favorite rock bands, or watch YouTube videos while playing through the old God of War games. It's one of those types of games for me. You can just play it and have fun. You don't need to get immersed into a story. You can just play it and have a great time. And that's just something the new God of War games lack massively. I don't know. Maybe the next game in the series where we'll be going to Egypt or whatever, maybe the next they can go back to something similar. But I highly doubt it. So all we can do is go back and play what was once the face of this franchise. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to Extreme Gameplays yet again for me to get the idea to make this video. Anyways, I will see you all in the next one, and until then everyone, take care. Chaos Blade, signing out.